What's up, everybody? It is October 23rd. We're switching it to Wednesdays from here on out. Horror Headlines. I am John Marr from Why We Love Horror, and that is Hunter Chambliss from Welcome to Prime Time, the Nerd Entertainment Network. How's it going tonight, Hunter?
I'm doing fantastic. We're back with horror headlines. We did miss last week. We apologize for that. But we have a lot of news topics today. 8 total news topics. So I am super excited to get into it.
8. All right. Well, Hunter, what do we got going first?
Little creeps. We made it.
Oh, what was that?
That's just something that was going on here. Don't worry about it. What's going on with our first topic for the evening?
All right. From BloodyDisgusting.com. Luca Guadagnino is directing a new adaptation of American Psycho for Lionsgate. The director of the 2018 remake of Dario Argento's Suspiria, Oscar nominee Luca Guadagnino, who directed Bones and all, and this year's Challengers, is in final negotiations to direct a brand new interpretation of the 1991 book American Psycho by Bret Easton Ellis for Lionsgate. Scott Z. Burns will be scripting the new movie, which is being described as a new adaptation of Bret Easton Ellis's novel rather than a remake of the 2000 movie. The book was previously adapted by director Mary Herron from a screenplay by Herron and Genevieve Turner, with Christian Bale starring in the original and iconic movie adaptation. So the chairman of Lionsgate said, "We are thrilled to add another elite filmmaker to our upcoming slate." So thoughts on Luca directing a new adaptation of American Psycho?
Well, I mean, Luca Guadagnino has delivered, I think, on pretty much all the films. I mean, have you seen Challengers? Challengers is great. And
I love Challengers. One of my favorite movies of the year.
If the reporting on this topic is correct, if it's going to be a more true to like Bret Easton Ellis' vision, I do think he's a very, very hard author to adapt. But if I trust a director, I would trust Luca to be more true to the story than the 2000 version of American Psycho. So I'm at least interested in that sentence that it's going to be a truer adaptation of the novel. Bret Easton Ellis, not an easy author to probably adapt to video, but I'm willing to see what's happening. What do you feel about it?
So the new adaptation thing, I wonder if they're going to take the original story of American Psycho, the Patrick Bateman of it all, and the kind of, look at early 80s Wall Street. And I wonder if they're going to update it to talk about more of like maybe, the 2020s alpha male bullshit, which if that's the adaptation they go, I will updating it from like Wall Street assholes to now the social media alpha male assholes.
I don't think they're going to
be a really good adaptation.
No, the story is meant to be like a critique of like 80s excess. I mean, if they update, is it an adaptation or an update? If it's an update of American Psycho, that's way different. I mean, I guess that.
So the thing is, it says directing a new adaptation of the American Psycho story.
It's going to still be set in the 80s. There's no way. I think that the 80s are basically a character in that story. So it's going to be very difficult to get away from that, I would say.
Yeah. So, I mean, I could definitely see that, but I could also see them doing like an updated version as well, which would still work with the time, like not the time period, but with the updating it, but keeping Patrick Bateman the same character. You wouldn't have to change Patrick Bateman that much, compared to what, alpha male red pill people are doing nowadays. So if they go that route, I think it could be an interesting, like, updated look at like going from the SS and the over the topness of the 80s, with 80s Wall Street, to now having this platform of social media where you can really talk about the alpha male bullshit and the, the Andrew Tates of it all. And I think you could really do a side-by-side comparison of like from the 80s to today.
It might be hard to get away with like whether you believe that Patrick Bateman really is committing the murders or if he is really pretending to commit the murders, it's very difficult to get away with the scope of killing he was doing in 2020. Whereas in the 80s, when you didn't have social media, it was easier to probably
be
that's
fair as well.
Killer. But remains to be seen. I'm interested in this project. I'm definitely going to see it.
Yeah, I'm definitely excited as well. But I mean, if it is a true adaptation of the novel, I think that could work as well, because back when this movie was made in 2000, the movie adaptation, you couldn't really get away with a lot because the MPAA was really stricter on movies back then. Now we have, things like Terrifier 3 being in theaters unrated, so things like that. So they can take a lot of the excess
The gore and gratuitous violence.
and the violence that you have in the novel and adapt it to screens today without having a lot of MPAA rules and regulations being as enforced.
Fair enough. What's our second topic of the evening?
All right, this one is very intriguing. Again, from Blade discussing The Monster, Darren Lynn Bousman's directed horror movie starring Djimon Hounsou. Darren Lynn Bousman of Saw and Spiral have set up his next horror project, directing an upcoming movie titled The Monster with Djimon Hounsou. The upcoming horror movie is about two millennials make quick money by leasing incredible New York City apartments that they don't own to people who don't know they are being scammed. The con works brilliantly until they run into an apartment owner with a dark secret who flips the game on them. So, thoughts on The Monster with Darren Lynn Bousman and Djimon Hounsou?
So it's people running a scam, and then they get scammed back by probably a violent person. I mean, Djimon Hounsou, really great actor. I mean, he was great in Quiet Place Part 2 and Quiet Place Day 1, and in the MCU and in everything else he's in. I can't think of a bad Djimon Hounsou performance. I wonder if he is the scammer or if he is the other person.
I think it's gonna be the other person.
I'd like to see him as the other person because he's not intimidating naturally, but he can be intimidating.
Mm-hmm.
So I imagine we're gonna get like a Korath the Pursuer type Djimon Hounsou. I'm in for it.
This kind of sounds like the plot to Don't Breathe. Am I kind of off topic where it's like it starts off as one movie and then they're being chased by the owner of the house?
Yeah,
it turns into another movie.
There's lots of movies like that. Like there's The Collector. But it sounds like they're renting out apartments and like basically probably like scamming people out of money. But then this person's gonna like squat in the apartment or something and like escalate. So yeah, I mean, remains to be seen. I'm not big on apartment cons. I'm sure they know more about it, the writers of the movie. So it's intriguing enough that I'm gonna want to see the movie. If it's gonna get a wide release and Djimon Hounsou's in it, I'm gonna check it out.
Yeah, 100%. Speaking on the director, Darren Lynn Bousman, I mean, I enjoyed Spiral for what it was. I know he did a lot of the Saw movies, which I have a guilty pleasure for. What do you think he's going to bring to this movie that's different from, anybody else who could have
at least
done
we know he has no problem directing like scenes where things get graphic, obviously as a Saw alumni. I forget, like outside of Saw, what did Darren Lynn Bousman do? You know off the top of your head? Or do you have to look it up?
Don't, but I can definitely look it up.
Yeah, he definitely has a few credits outside of the Saw franchise. It's not coming right away. But yeah, we know he knows how to direct tension. We know he knows how to direct violence. So I imagine both of those aspects will be in the movie. Is there a production company attached to this?
I did not see one, but I can look. So he, not including the Saw movies, he did a lot like Repo, the generic opera, The Death of Me, Mother's Day. So like a lot of like smaller.
Okay, they're all movies that are violent. So like, yeah, I don't think we're gonna get away from the gratuitous violence in there. So that's what I expect.
Read the thing again and see if there's a production company. The script is written by Jonathan Burston and James Greer, who did Unsane.
Okay.
I can't see a.
It's called The Monster.
Yeah, The Monster. I'm pretty sure. I mean, if I had to guess, maybe Paramount, just because like the Quiet Place connection, things like that. But it could be somebody else.
Let's see here. I'm looking it up on Letterboxd to see what we got here. I don't know. I don't even see like. Let me look up Darren Lynn Bousman. What's our next topic while I look this up?
All right, so we have a new Predator movie coming out in 2025. Predator Badlands, starring Elle Fanning, is releasing in theaters November 2025. In the wake of Dan Trachtenberg's 10 Cloverfield Lane, Prey going straight to Hulu back in 2022, we learned that Disney will be releasing a follow-up film in theaters. Also being directed by Trachtenberg, Predator Badlands releases on November 7th, 2025, starring Elle Fanning, has been set to star in the fresh new installment. It's interesting to note that November 7th, 2025 had been the date occupied by Marvel's long-delayed Blade reboot, but that project has now been bumped off the schedule completely. So thoughts on Predator Badlands coming out in 2025?
I think if this is the new direction we're going to go with the Predator movies, where it's just like, the Predator has always been kind of like in history, and we're just going to see him in a different time in history, I am all for it. I love Prey. I like all the other, hints that he's going to show up in other times in history. So I'm interested in seeing this. Elle Fanning's great. And to go back to our original point on Darren Lynn Bousman, the only production company attached to the monster is Darren Lynn Bousman's production company. So no other big studios are attached, but it's fine.
Yeah, it's fine.
Back to the Predator. I mean, with the exception of the AVP movies, I don't really think there's bad Predator movies. What do you think?
Yeah, the Predator franchise, I love the first one. I love Prey. I actually had fun with the first Alien vs. Predator. I just wish we had more of them fighting. But I mean, I haven't seen the sequels. The Predator, I think, was okay at best.
That's the weakest of the Predator movies because Predators is great.
Yeah, but the Predator I saw in theaters. Predators I haven't seen yet, so I definitely have to check that one out. But I love Prey. I think it was a surprising film because I went into it not expecting to like it and ended up really liking it. I think the action in that movie was really, really well done. Dan Trachtenberg has done in horror 2 really, really good horror movies. That's Prey and then 10 Cloverfield Lane, which I really love. So I'm very excited to see what he does with. I'm pretty sure they said this is a sequel to Prey as well. So this is going to follow the storyline that we had in Prey. I don't know how they're going to tie that in.
Well, if it's Badlands, that makes it sound like it's going to be like a Wild West. It'll be like just more frontier stuff,
Yes.
Right? So it makes sense. I mean, like we had what? We had Native Americans. We had like French fur trappers.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just that whole time in America when everybody was just trying to stake their claim. So if we're going to go further out west, we get like a ghost town type mining town thing in the
that sounds
Great
awesome.
Plains or the Dakotas. I'll check it out. Just 6 shooting gunslingers going up against the Predator. Let's see what happens.
And I'm pretty sure that this is going to be theatrical release as well. I don't think Disney's going to just drop it.
They're not going to make
Hulu.
that mistake twice. Prey should have been released in theaters.
It should have. So speaking of what was also in the article, I didn't want to add this story in because I don't know if you would count it as horror. What are your thoughts on Blade being just completely left off any schedules for the next probably 5 or 6 years?
I mean, as long as nothing happens, as long as they're sticking with Mahershala Ali and nothing happens to it, Blade was kept relevant through Deadpool and Wolverine. So,
So
I mean,
that's the thing. I don't think he's going to be attached for much longer because he's got filming for the new Jurassic World movie coming very, very soon if they're trying to hit that 2026 release date. So they
can probably
doubt
push
that,
it back. I mean, I don't know if it's still on the plan. I mean, the stuff they have planned looks fine. They have plenty of time. They already shifted gears off Kang, and they're bringing RDJ back as Dr. Doom.
Mm-hmm.
So MCU has shown they could pivot. So I mean, and there's still plenty of properties to go through. So I mean, Blade, it doesn't really matter. I don't think anybody was clamoring for a new Blade anyway.
I mean,
so when
they announced this back in 2019, and a lot of people were excited for it. It just sucks that they have been going through First, it was the change of the writers, then it was the change of directors, and now it's just off the schedule completely because they keep pushing it back. I think if they would have announced it in 2019 and it came out in 2022, 2023, I think it would have been a massive hit. But for some reason, they can't get Blade to work for some reason, and I don't know why.
And I will say, from like an MCU kind of purist standpoint, you at least avoid the loophole that Mahershala Ali is already in the MCU because he was in the Luke Cage series. So
no, well, yeah,
fine.
I guess now because the Netflix shows are canon, I guess they do count Luke Cage as part of the MCU. See, that's why I think everything from the Netflix world should have been just separate. But that's a whole
Daredevil
other topic.
Daredevil rules.
Oh, it does, but
Yeah.
you could bring him in and just say that's canon. Like you could say, again, I think they're going to recast Blade, probably go with a younger actor. I mean, I love, Mahershala Ali, but he's pushing 50 right now. And I know that Wesley Snipes was a little bit older when he played Blade as well, but they were already shooting the movies by the time he was getting up in age. So I think going with a younger actor to portray this in the future might be the better option.
There's plenty of actors who would love to have this shot, I would say. Yeah, I think you're right. They should definitely look to maybe cast somebody else. If I had to say off the top of my head, I think the dude from Alien Romulus who plays the actually, what's that guy's name?
Yes, I know you're talking about.
The guy who plays the synthetic in Alien Romulus.
Yes.
Films Alien Romulus. His name is David Johnson. Yeah, that's an easy name to remember. David Johnson.
Yes.
Should be Blade. I'm saying it here. He should be Blade.
You heard it here, folks.
He is my front runner for Blade, David Johnson. Let's go.
There you go.
You got any other suggestions?
Not at the top of my head. It's really hard to come up with like great new actors that like aren't like the obvious answers. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's also other people who are I think Donald Glover would be a good Blade, but he's already in the MCU, so
he's already in the MCU. Yeah,
can't do it. There's a few guys who are already in the MCU who we can't have. But yeah, I think I'm David Johnson. Let's go get him now. Get him now. He's hot. Get him now.
Yep. All right. Are you ready to move on to our next topic?
Yes, I am.
All right, so we have a new thriller from Christopher Landon called Drop. It gets a new poster and a release date. I wish I would have remembered to put the poster in the actual banner screen, but I will drop it down in below this article down below so people can see the actual poster. It's really just that. It's just somebody.
Oh, we have that in the horror headline. People can see it here.
Oh. Do they as well?
Yeah, it's part of the graphic you sent me. It's below us right now.
Okay, awesome. So everyone's a suspect according to the new poster for Drop, the latest horror thriller from director Christopher Landon, and it brings with it a new release date. Drop releases only in theaters on April 11th, 2025. Emmy nominee Megan Fahy, breakout star of White Lotus and The Perfect Couple, plays Violet, a widowed mother on her first date in years, who arrives at an upscale restaurant where she is relieved that her date, Henry, played by Brandon Skellner, is more charming and handsome than she expected. But their chemistry begins to curdle as Violet begins receiving... oh my God, I can't read, sorry. But their chemistry begins to curdle as Violet begins being terrorized by a series of anonymous drops to her phone. She is instructed to tell nobody and follow instructions, or the hooded figure she sees on her home security cameras will kill Violet's young son and babysitting sister. Violet must do exactly as directed, or everyone she loves will die. So, thoughts on the update for Drop?
Sounds like a convoluted Saw, because isn't that
really
what's
does.
happening in Saw? Like, yeah, we have your wife and daughter, do what we say, or I'm going to kill by 6 o'clock. We're going to kill them. So it definitely has its roots in other films we enjoy. Christopher Landon has a flair for horror comedy, though. So I imagine if this is like this is Saw, but like a horror comedy, sure, or at least like some
maybe.
some cringy stuff on the date. Why not?
I mean,
like
it didn't
Chris- I
say
mean-
it was going to be a horror comedy. I mean, it said it's going to be a thriller. So I think it's going to be a thriller with like maybe comedic dialogue, but not a full blown.
I feel now when you attach Christopher Landon to something, like it's a horror comedy. Like, which why else? Why? I mean, I'm not saying he's a one trick guy, but I'm saying like why else? Why else would you promote that you're attaching him to it if you don't want to invoke like freaky Happy Death Day, Scout's Guide to the Apocalypse at this point?
Yeah,
like, that's who he is.
Yeah. So to me, this could be a way to branch out, maybe slightly away from that image, like not completely, but maybe do something that like is outside his wheelhouse, or maybe have funny dialogue with them on the date or things like that, but not go full blown horror comedy like a Freaky or Happy Death Day. But maybe because even in something like a Happy Death Day, we see that his writing can be really good, like the dramatic moments with Tree and her mom and things like that. There is a really good writer there that can write like this kind of, story about a mom who is going on a date and like maybe her tension with her kids because she's a widow or something like that, that he can attach a family element to that gets me very excited.
All right. I mean, gonna see it, so whatever.
You see everything, John. So
yeah, I'm gonna see it. So what do we got next?
So yeah, I'm very excited for Drop. But next we have our trailer talk for Wolfman. Christopher Abbott transforms into an unrecognizable monster in Leigh Whannell's latest thriller. Director Leigh Whannell returned to the world of Universal Monsters with the next year's Wolfman, and the new trailer unveiled today gives us a closer look at the exciting events that will turn Christopher Abbott's Family Man into an unrecognizable monster. So I watched the trailer as well. Pretty much going on to explain what the movie's about. We know what the movie's about. We talked about it for the past few weeks. So, John, thoughts on the trailer for The Wolfman?
They've been playing this before movies now. I imagine this is the trailer like where they're in the moving truck and the moving truck sideways and the driver, the passenger of the truck falls out of the truck. Yeah, and then when Christopher Abbott's character goes to close the door, he gets scratched. And then, you see the tension of like, it's not like your typical, like I was bitten by a werewolf, and I'm trained. He's scratched and they make it to a house in the middle of nowhere. And he's just slowly transforming while his wife and daughter are around. So I think the movie is more about the first transformation. I like the way that tension is built up. And I think given Leigh Whannell's track record, especially with The Invisible Man, that he's going to hit this out of the park.
Oh, 100%. I saw this trailer and I immediately got more excited because, one, if you guys know me, I love horror movies that take place in one or two central locations. And it seems like this farmhouse is going to be the main area that is going to be a bulk of the movie, which is really, really cool because now you're trapped in an area where you don't know what's going on. You got this family man who got scratched, and now he's slowly starting to see the symptoms of becoming the Wolfman, which is a really cool way to do it because now we're seeing like this family man who in this area with his family can't control his rage and slowly starts becoming a monster. So now it's pretty much Wolfman meets Jekyll and Hyde because Wolfman is now, the monster that comes out, but can the man stop him from hurting his family? So I like that kind of tension. And like Leigh Whannell, as you said, like has killed it in horror with The Invisible Man and with why am I forgetting the other one? The first one he did. The robotic movie.
Oh, Upgrade?
Upgrade, yes, with Upgrade as well. So like a Wolfman movie with like an Upgrade, element of like the body horror gets me very excited.
Yeah, I'm down for that too. I mean, this movie's got a lot of buzz. I mean, I think we have to see it. So, I mean, I'm definitely covering it on Why We Love Horror. It's happening. So,
I'm definitely seeing this when it comes out as well. I cannot wait for it. All right, are you ready for our next topic?
And I am ready.
All right, another movie I'm very excited to see. Smile 2 tops the first movie with a $46 million worldwide opening. Oop, all right, sorry. 2 years after the first film struck gold at the box office, director Parker Finn is back with Paramount's sequel Smile 2, which opened worldwide at the box office over the weekend. Across 3,000 U.S. theaters, Smile topped the box office and swallowed up an estimated $23 million in its domestic debut, the film's worldwide opening weekend, hitting $46 million. In addition to hitting the number one spot on the domestic box office, Smile 2 also opened higher than its predecessor back in 2022. Smile opened to $22.6 million in the United States. The first Smile movie went up to scare $217.4 million worldwide, a number that Smile 2 hopes to reach and surpass in the upcoming weeks. So, thoughts on the great opening for Smile 2?
Parker Finn is a lucky man. This movie isn't great.
You didn't like it?
It's good with a lowercase g. It's not great. We're definitely getting a Smile 3. It's just like, I mean, tune into Why We Love Horror tomorrow to get my full take on it. I still wind up liking the movie, but it's extremely unpolished, kind of lazy storyboarding. The movie itself looks great, feels great, soundtrack's great. Story makes, the more you think about the story that you're presented, the less sense it makes. So that's all I'll say. It's like it goes against itself. Smile 2 does.
That's kind of surprising to hear you say that, because I was looking at the Rotten Tomatoes like rating on it. It has a higher critic score and audience score than the first one, and a lot of critics have been praising the script. So that's kind of interesting that like you saw it as a negative while others have saw it as a positive. But that's the great thing about movies.
I can't say anything without spoiling the movie, but like from the very get-go, they abandon the lore and then they pick it back up after they abandoned it, which is kind of like a bunch of weird choices to make. So
interesting.
Yeah.
But I am very excited to see it. I'm seeing Terrifier 3 tomorrow, which I'm so excited to see that one. Then I'm definitely going to try to catch that next week on my other days off.
Yeah, go for it. I mean, it's not a bad time. It's like the movie's not like horrible. You're not going to, and it's also like if you like jump scares, like if you love getting jump scared for no reason, like 80 times, then you'll love Smile.
To be fair, the first Smile did have that problem too, over reliance on jump scares as well.
Well, if Smile was over reliant, Smile 2 is addicted to.
You know what? I'm very excited to see what I think about it, because I usually go against the grain of critics. But if critics like it and audiences like it, then I may side with it. I don't know. It's up in the air.
Yeah.
But I mean, I really love the first Smile, so maybe I'm going into this with maybe higher expectations than I should.
Yeah, I mean, I like the first one too. I think I like this one the same, if not maybe slightly less. But it looks good. Naomi Scott is great in it. All the performances are actually great. It's legit. It's the writing that I have a problem with.
Okay,
period.
That's what I like wanted to ask about, is like her performance, Naomi Scott's performance, because like from the trailers, like she looks like she's giving a hell of a.
Oh, she goes all out. Yeah, she's probably the best thing in the movie. She's definitely the best thing in the movie. It's just the movie.
The movie itself. The movie.
It's the movie itself. You'll see, and we'll talk about it after you see it. You'll see.
All right, definitely. I can't wait to have that discussion. All right, are you ready for our second to last topic?
I am. Let's see what we're talking about.
All right, we have a new dark comedy from director Alex Winters called Adulthood. Actor and filmmaker Alex Winter freaked find himself back in the director's chair with an upcoming Adulthood, which has been acquired by Republic Pictures this week. Directed by Alex Winter and penned by novelist Michael M.B. Gavin, Adulthood is described as a darkly comic modern noir. Megan's siblings, Megan and Noah, are barely hanging on in a present-day America. when they discover a dead body long buried in their parents' basement. The siblings are pulled back to their hometown they ran away from and into a rabbit hole of crime and murder. This stars Josh Gad and Kayla Scarado from The Gentleman. So thoughts on the...
Yeah, Kyle Scolario. When you have Alex Winter directing and Josh Gad starring, if it's not a horror comedy, I don't know what the hell it is.
Yeah,
this is definitely a horror comedy. I imagine it's going to be kind of gross and over the top. Alex Winter, you might remember, didn't direct, but was the second star of Destroy All Neighbors. So he's definitely been in this realm one way or another for a very long time. Bill from Bill and Ted, doing his thing. Alex Winter's great. I enjoy him every time I see him. So I'm probably, I'm not just like a broken record. I'm going to see this.
Yeah. So I'm very excited for this. I love dark comedies. I love comedies that push the envelope, especially in the horror genre, because of the horror genre being so just kind of out there already, and you're adding this kind of darkly comedic element to it. That's
Josh
my
Gad.
wheelhouse.
Josh Gad, also great in Little Monsters. If you haven't seen Little Monsters,
I need to watch that. That's the Melissa Barrera one, right?
No, that's Your Monster. Little Monsters is Lupita Nyong'o, Josh Gad, and it's kind of like Cooties in a way, because there's kid zombies, but it's like they go on a field trip and all hell breaks loose. And Josh Gad plays a shitty children's performer. It's great. By shitty, I mean morally shitty. Not like not like he's bad. He's just morally. He's he's kind of like Robin Williams' character in Death to Smoochie. That kind of.
Ooh, character. Okay. Yeah. That sounds interesting. But I love when directors can push that line of horror and dark comedy. That's down my wheelhouse already. So I'm very excited for this one. It took me a minute to realize that Alex Winters is Bill from Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure.
Yeah.
Oh, that's kind of cool as well. That
Marco from the Lost Boys, the smallest vampire in the Lost Boys. Yes, that is same dude.
Same dude.
A storied career from Alex Winter.
Yeah, apparently. So it's really cool to see actors that I watched, as a kid, because my dad loved Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, and I love The Lost Boys. So to see him now doing horror is freaking awesome.
Pizzle's here. What's up, Pizzle? Good to see you again. You're just in time for the final headline of the night. What's our final headline?
So actually, I looked at it. We have an extra bonus one that after this one. So we have 9 topics for the night.
Okay, what's our 8th topic then?
All right, Shudder officially announces VHS 8 for a 2025 release. They're bringing more VHS movies, ladies and gentlemen. Fresh out of New York Comic Con, Shudder has officially announced the 8th franchise installment, VHS 8, will be coming to the horror streaming service in 2025. Created by Bloody Disgusting and Brad Mitzka, the found footage anthology franchise VHS kicked off in 2012 and has to date spawned 6 sequels, including VHS 2, Viral, 94, 99, and 85, and 2 spin-offs, Siren and Kids vs. Aliens. So, thoughts on them announcing VHS 8?
I think this is going to be a yearly thing. I think this is going to go on for as long as we allow it to go on. VHS Beyond, I highly recommend. There's some really good, it's the first time in a while where I'm saying people actually did cool things with the concept. There's Justin Long and his brother did a story in there. There's a story about a skydiving trip that goes wrong, and the skydiving trip gets intercepted by aliens. Kate Siegel directed one of the installments of VHS Beyond. It's really good. It's one of the strongest entries in the franchise overall, I'd say.
Hell yeah.
So I'm happy to see another one. Yeah.
So I am someone who I've never seen any of the VHS movies, but I know that most of the new ones are on Shudder, and I have Shudder, so I'm going to go through and rewatch and watch them all and try to get VHS 1 and 2 in as well. Just because I love the idea of horror anthologies as as in general. And I know a lot of people, some say that some VHS movies aren't as good as the others, but with a franchise like Gone This Long, you're bound to get that. But
It
I'm
starts
super
strong
excited.
and it ends strong. It's like the viral and 94 are maybe the weakest ones. The rest of them are fine to great.
Okay. So
Yeah.
I'm definitely excited to go through and see what I feel about each of them, because I know like a lot of like Radio Silence had their start in one of the VHS movies. Joseph and his wife,
The Winters, Joseph Vanessa.
yeah, the
Winter,
Winters. Yeah,
yeah.
I like their big breakout was in a VHS. So seeing like all of these big name directors coming in to direct these segments is very, very exciting.
Yep, and you're going to see a ton. You're going to love it. What's our final topic of the evening?
All right, so this one actually came up when I was writing the topics, and this one came out just that day, so I had to add it to the list. From Deadline, Mike Flanagan scares up another Stephen King adaptation with Carrie as an 8-episode Amazon series.
Do we need another Carrie? Go ahead.
After scoring the big deal at the Toronto Film Festival with Neon for TIFF's People Choice Award winner, The Life of Chuck, director Mike Flanagan and Stephen King are right back at it. Here's their next collaboration will be Carrie, this time an 8-episode series for Amazon. Flanagan will be the showrunner. The 1974 novel puts the young Arthur King on the map and also bolsters his worth as an author whose genre storytelling was most translatable to the big screen. Brian De Palma was the first director to adapt King's coming-of-age story of a young sheltered girl with a domineering mother whose bullying caused unimaginable blood-soaked consequences due to her hyperkinetic powers. Sissy Spacek played the title character, and John Travolta, Piper Laurie, Amy Irving, Nancy Allen, and more starred in that one. So, thoughts on a Carrie series by Mike Flanagan being in the works?
I mean, you touch Mike Flanagan, anything is going to be fine. But, I really wish they could have just adapted something that hadn't been adapted yet. Like, there's still plenty of there's plenty of Stephen King stories that adapt like Fairy Tale to like an 8-part series, or adapt like The Girl Who Loved Tom Gordon, or like stuff, something we haven't seen yet. Like, do we need? Like, we know what happens in Carrie. Like, she can move stuff with her mind. They dump blood on her, and she fucking flips out. That's the movie. I don't think they're gonna change anything. Yeah. Give me a good Dark Tower series. Like, please. That there's so much we can do.
But we
There's
have
so
the movie with Matthew McConaughey.
Chill out, Hunter. Like, Dark Tower deserved way better. Do the Talisman. There's like so much. There's like so many good things still on the table. Yeah, I'm kind of, that kind of pisses me off. Whatever.
I don't know. I'm more excited about this. One, because Mike Flanagan attached to anything, I'm gonna be excited for. But two, when you do an 8-part miniseries that I'm guessing so it's gonna be about an hour to an hour and a half in length, you have time to develop the characters more based on the book that the movies didn't get to see. So you get to see more of Carrie and her mother and like the struggles there. It's Mike. Mike Flanagan does religious horror very well. You can, go deep dive into the religion-based aspect of that, of being, in a household that is so religious focused that it drives somebody to go mad. Like, I think there's a lot you can dive into that's not just plots from the movie. I think with a miniseries, it opens it up to expand a story more. Like, if this was a movie, for example, I'd be like, yeah, why are you doing another movie? But because it's an Amazon show and Amazon shows are an hour to an hour and a half in length, it now opens up more to explore the characters of Carrie, her mom, and this backtone of like what religion can do if pushed down somebody's throat.
Or, hear me out, do something that hasn't been adapted 5 times already. Do Duma Key. There's plenty of books that have not been adapted yet. Do Revival. Yeah. I digress. I'm gonna watch. Anything Mike Flanagan can read the phone book, I'll watch it.
Yep, that's all our topics. I don't think we have anything else, John.
All right, then. That'll do it for horror headlines for this week, then. Check out Why We Love Horror on YouTube and any other content we have on all your social media. Go over to Welcome to Primetime. Plenty of great original programming on that channel as well. It's probably where you're watching this right now. But until next week, stay scary. Hunter, hit him with that outro.
Stay scared, everybody.